Hello, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel, whichever the case may be. Today's video, I want to talk about the next step in my motherboard project, my 8088 motherboard here, that's built on an ISA card. Recommend checking out my previous videos to get better details on this. What I want to talk about today is a 4-slot backplane that I made that'll fit in an ATX case, along with the correct push button for power. I'll go into more detail here in a minute. So my last video, I had demoed this adapter for a breadboard that's 3 slots, and 3 slots is enough for my project. I had to make 2 of them, one without pins, one with pins, and the idea behind this, if you watched my last video, is these holes are lined up to go in an ATX case. And I had to put little spacers on the back here because these didn't line up with the screw holes. But what I found was that the pin headers were too tall to go in the case and rested on the back of the case. So this worked, but I decided it's like, well, if it's not fully compatible to be usable with both a breadboard and a ATX case, I might as well make an appropriate backplane. And so the main features of this, it's 4 slots. I'll probably make one that's the full 7 slots eventually. I don't know if I'll ever produce any anytime soon, because 3 slots is enough, 4 slots is plenty. You've got your motherboard card, a video card, and then expansion like your mass storage device, like your floppy drive or your USB, and then one more for like a serial port, and it's enough for some basic development. So the features, it does have the 24-pin socket. There's a little mark right there. If you just have the 20-pin, just kind of know that it goes towards the bottom there. And then there's the momentary button to turn it on and off, and a pin header to run it to the push button on the case itself. I decided to put the button in there. These things are just pennies to solder on. And I figured if you're going to be working on the bench, nice to have a little button right there instead of having to connect something up. And then a power LED so that you know the power is functional. All the pins are connected except for the -5 is connected here. It's just most power supplies doesn't have it. And what I've seen is with other projects, you guys will take and create the -5 artificially, coming off like the -12 and reducing it. And then you've got your 5 timers, the whole brains of the board, basically. Some resistors to, manipulate the 555 correctly. Capacitors. So I made this board long so that these screw holes would line up in a case. And instead of leaving this as dead space, I did put in so that you can solder to make this a 16-bit backplane. I'm only working an 8-bit, so I'm not worried about that right now. Plus, I didn't have any of the appropriate card slots for there to solder any in. And, if I was going to do this, or if you ever see me selling these, I'll probably leave like one of them, which is an 8-bit, because there were some cards that dropped. So it'd be like 3 of them that were 16-bit, and one that would be 8-bit. So the only thing that the project's really missing now, this project is really about there as far as being functional without having to be like modified. But what we're missing is a reset button that is external. There's a reset button there, but maybe in some future boards I'll put a pin header so you can run that to the external on the case as well. But being an 8088, turning it off and turning it back on, reset does do something different than turning it off and turning it on. That the memory stays warm and all that. Anyway, I just plug this together with the power supply I've got on the bench. I was thinking about putting it in a case, but I might just do that another day. I don't want to have to pause the video and then piece it together. So this just connects in like that. I spaced it out about the same space as from a card slot as they're from each other. So hopefully they don't rub on your card too much with your cord, depending on what you've got for a power supply. Find a box to prop this up on. So I'll just go second slot over. Kind of a rigid cord there. Let's see, so my graphics card I'll put here in the last slot. And then I'm going to be using a USB module for this test. Now in a case, the module won't work so well. I need to solder some of these up with the pins that go directly in for that. So that's it pieced together. And the keyboard still. Okay, so it should all be there. Just want to make sure nothing's touching that shouldn't be touching. Yeah, you see the light comes on. And you can see that the system boots up just fine. And let's see the keyboard. Yeah, the keyboard works. So that's kind of the basics of the ATX based backplane that I've created for the board. And when I start selling these boards again, I'll probably make a few available with the boards. That way it's more of a complete system. So the only thing you'd have to buy from there is a keyboard and a video card, and then whatever mass storage device you're going to use. So anyway, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment or shoot me an email. So thanks for checking out my video today.